Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It's Sean Higgs, Chip Chirimbes today. Doug is traveling here on a Monday, but that's right. We got three baseball winners for you. We're going to talk about our two games and a third bonus one for you there to do as you will with. But before we get to that, here you are. Thumb up. Put the thumbs up. Maybe thumbs down. Maybe you don't like my shirt with the little Sasquatch and palm trees on. I'm trying to be festive here at the beach, but hey. To each his own. You might not be a Sasquatch guy. You might be a Yeti guy. Whatever the case may be. Comment section open. Let us know what you think about these free picks here today. And if you want our best bets, our top plays, our premium best bets, head on over to gamblersworld.net for all of the top plays. Chipper, take it away because I know you had a nice little run there. I mean, I cashed with the Thunder last night 3-0 day, but you've been on a real heater, WNBA, NBA, MLB. Yeah. What else?
Well, it was really nice to finish the NBA season with a winner and a mega buck winner at that. In the playoffs, we ended up 23-11, 69%, and 68% has been 67% has been pretty much the standard for the playoffs so far. Excuse me, I was 21-10, not 23-11. The WNBA, still goes on there, my friend Sean. Basketball's basketball, as far as I'm concerned. 19-8 now on another winning streak in the WNBA, 73%. The Megabucks in the WNBA, because women can't be trusted. I've only given out 5 games. They're 4-1. So, look, just trotting along each and every day. No Megabuck plays in baseball this weekend, Sean, and consequently, I went 0-2 Saturday and Sunday. But the big games in basketball went 3-0 over the weekend, and I'm really looking forward to this WNBA, which doesn't play on Monday. But they give you 2-3 games every day, and it's sort of, Sean, it sort of fits my style of where I like to just single out the top game, one game. And if you only have 3 of them out there, it sort of like condenses it makes it a little bit easier for me, to tell you the truth. Rather than having a plethora of games where you get confused, your head's turning around, and you're looking at this one and that one. It's easier to make a decision when there's only 3 games out there.
Yeah, listen, we've talked about WNBA and not a huge,
I know we were teasing.
A fan of it and jumping in. But you're right. A couple games, you should be able to find one, dive in and get a good solid reading. Win or lose, you could still get a good feel on something when there's a handful. It's better than 15 games. You're like, wow, I got to really do some work. You could find a value, and you've shown it. You've shown it so far this season.
And conversely, for some reason, the CFL, the Canadian Football League, hasn't come to me yet. And where we only have 9 teams, and each weekend you only have 4 games, Friday, Saturday, and I'm still working on that out. I didn't post this past weekend. I'm looking to find my way in the CFL.
Well, let's talk about some MLB here.
Okay.
The CFL, whatever. I don't get it. 1 point kicks. It's bizarre. I got a pea-sized brain rolling down a 12-lane highway. I can't. That is just too confusing for me there with that kind of nonsense. But we got Braves and Mets again this week. We'll be talking about the Braves and Mets a lot this week. A good series. Mets were swept last week. Sail out for the year here with the Braves, and now they're kind of like in a little danger zone territory, I think, as a squad. Just overall, forget about this game. I don't know what their really mindset is going forward. But they got Schwellen back on the hill today. Small little fave, about a 125, 130 mark here. Blackburn gave up 3 in his last start here. 2 Atlanta, 3 in the first inning. It was all she wrote. Schwellen gave up a couple runs, but also had like 8 or 9 Ks. So do the Mets second time around kind of get them? All right, you struck out 8, but we got you for 4 runs as well. Do you have faith in Blackburn to slow down the Braves lineup here?
Well, Blackburn hasn't been what they had anticipated or expected. I think they got him the second part of last year. He's 0-1, limited action. ERA is close to 7, 13 innings. Giving up 18 hits so far, though. This Atlanta team, we've talked about them. They're 6 games under 500 right now, minus $1,700 on a $100 unit. The Mets, 14 games over 500, and Sean, they're only plus $96. So the odds makers are doing their a good job with the Mets as far as concerned. I looked these things up, and it's amazing baseball how fine a line there can be between a win and a loss. The Atlanta Braves are only allow scoring 0.2 of a run less per game than are the Mets. They're allowing 0.2 of a run more than the Mets give up, and yet this game's 6 games under 500, Atlanta, and the the Mets are 14 games over. Atlanta's won the last 4 meetings and 6 of the last 7. The Mets ended their 7-game losing streak with a win, but there's still only 2 wins in the last 10 games. Blackburn just hasn't done it yet. I think that Atlanta's the side here, Sean. I really do. They've won 7 of their last 10. They look to be improving a little bit, but every time we say that, they seem to falter. Schwellenbach, he is starting for Atlanta, is he not? I believe in the 97 innings, only 82 hits. The problem with him, and maybe this is why the Atlanta Braves don't win so much, 12 home runs, Sean, in that short period of time. Already he's surrendered this year. So not giving up that many hits, but he's giving up the long ball. I'm going to take Atlanta here anyway, them being favored over the Mets at New York. And the Mets are starting to show a little wear and tear, maybe, or that's not the exact word. They're starting to be exposed a little bit. You have O'Neill, who was once a National League batting king one year, playing second and center, and they're moving people around. They really don't have that solid a lineup. And I know that the people in New York really, even though O'Neill won the batting title for them, they really don't think much of him as a player, and they're looking to do anything they can to keep him out of the lineup. But he plays a number of different positions, and he's filling a role. So I see the Mets are starting to struggle a little bit, and I'll take Atlanta here. I really would. I think they're a play.
Well, official play for Chip here's on the Braves. And as I mentioned, Mets had a great start, having a great year, was getting done pitching. Canning, who they picked up off the scrap heap from the Angels, had a good run. Peterson was good. But you can't keep winning games 2-0.
No.
Listen, Lindor, Soto, Alonso, you need a little more help. You mentioned who's that? Jeff McNeil. Nemo was another guy. You need those kind of guys to be hitting all the time. And are you going to win 3-1 games all the time? You're going to hit a rough spot.
Yep.
And the Braves, pitching, no pitching, whatever, they're a dangerous squad. So I kind of lean on this one because I think that the pitching edge. Blackburn had a good run, a couple years ago with the A's, and even that good run was just kind of a stretch of maybe 2 months. You thought he'd be trade bait, but he's not that good. I'm with you here.
When these pitchers get injured, sometimes their whole career changes. So I don't know how impressive he would have been, but right now he hasn't done much.
He's on the other side of 30. He is what he is. He's a back end guy on a decent team. What do you expect out of him? Not much. The number's right. 133. Braves as a free pick from Chip. Chip's best bets at GamblersWorld. What do you got going on today, Chip?
I have one play out there, and it's. I don't think I posted. No, I didn't post it as a megabuck play, but I think it's worthy. I really do. I think it's a pretty good play. And the reason I didn't post it as a megabuck play is because I'm coming off 2 losses, Sean, Saturday and Sunday. Got beat 3-2 and 5-4. But I don't want to get on a bad roll and start pressing. So this is just a regular play out there, but it's my lone play in Major League Baseball, and I think it's a winner.
Yeah. So I found myself. I got a 3-pack today, Chip. And I put a game in last night, and this morning I'm looking, I'm like, you know what? I kind of like these, I threw out a couple totals. I find, you like something early, you just get it, why kind of push it? And I had a winning day, I say, but they were close enough to almost do last night. I saw them this morning, I'm like, I'm going to go for it, punch them in. Although I don't like doing that. I don't like really adding
right
kind of stuff like that. I feel like the night before.
Sean, it never seems to win if you add that extra game.
Yes.
Throw it in, because it's not one of your top rated games in the first place because maybe you had a little doubt about it or you weren't quite sure. And you hear some information late. I've done this so many times where you throw a game up late and you're saying, I got the, and you don't have a chance. I don't know. It's better to go with your first instinct, post them, and leave them. That's how I feel about it anyway.
Agreed. And there you go, folks. Last day for the 10% off sale here. Any package, season, weekly, monthly, go get it. 10% off. Can't beat that. Again, Chip's free play. Braves today. A little bonus action. We'll be real fast with it. Yanks and Reds. Winnings. 17th rounder, by the way. Great numbers in the minors. But he looks like a 4A kind of pitcher. He was a Brave hand. Wasn't that great with the Braves when he got called up. Minor numbers are really good. I don't know. This one here, this would be a total play for me. And, Lodolo's a lefty. Yanks hit lefty somehow. I don't get it. But the Yanks, again, one of the better hitting teams with this lineup. I preface that by saying it's pretty much been Judge carrying the squad, but
Yeah.
I would lean to the over here. The Reds offense, 5 or more runs in 6 of 10 games, so they've been scoring. I like the over in this one. Anything for you in this one as a little bonus?
I agree wholeheartedly. Playing the over, I'm kind of suspect as why the Yankees 13 games over 500, though they hadn't been playing all that well, are only $1.20 at Cincinnati here. And the bookmaker, I said how he always seems to get you. If you bet the Yankees every game, you're minus 250 on the year, and if you bet Cincinnati every game, you're plus 250 on the year. And the records are so different.
Heavy juice.
So the reason for the over too, the Yankees are averaging over 5 runs a game, and Cincinnati. The last time they played the Yankees, they won 3 straight at New York, and that was last year during the 4th of July. This Williams has had, Alan Williams, I believe, has had a really good stint so far in the minors, but in the major leagues, he hasn't done it yet. We'll see what happens here. He was 7-0 with an 0.9 ERA and 9 starts, Sean. That's really something else. But Lodo? What was his name? Nick?
Lodolo.
Okay, Lodolo has had 9 quality starts out of 11 attempts out there, but I think the Yankee bats are strong enough. I'd play this game over, and the over's 10.5. And there's 2 numbers there where the Yankees are only $1.20, which raises an eyebrow on my vantage point, and the total at 10.5. We don't see too many double digits unless they're playing in Colorado. But here in Cincinnati with the Yankee power and the Reds being at home, I think they think it's going over, and I do too.
Bonus play. We both kind of like the over in this Yankee Red game. Again, safe travels to Doug for the Doug Little bonus play there. Again, free pick from Chip will be on the Braves in the Braves Met game. Braves minus 133. Go get his top play today at gamblersworld.net. Now, final game of the board here, or for the show, I should say, Cubs and the Cardinals. Brown and Libidor. I kind of like Libidor. He was a good little prospect, had a decent year. Been roughed up lately here. So for me, Cardinals have been hot. Cubbies have not. I'm going to look at a total in this one. And it's real just simple based on how Libidor's been pitching of late, which has been bad. 5+ ERA, whip close to almost 140. You're going to put extra guys on base. The Cubs, first place Cubbies, they could hit the ball. Total's 9. Again, I like the Cubs. I have a Cubs season over. I do not like this pitcher. I think we see runs. I'm going over to 9 here.
Yeah, I can see it, Sean. Ben Brown, his ERA is 5.5 over, and here's how we check stats, and sometimes they're meaningless, and sometimes they're significant. He's only gone 74 innings, giving up 85 hits, so you really like to play against him, but he struck out 88 people in 74 innings, so he is a strikeout guy. The Cubs are averaging 5.4 runs a game. Now, this Cubs and Cardinals, this is the National League version of the Red Sox and Yankees. This is the biggest rivalry in the National League. I think since the Giants and Dodgers moved out of New York to the West Coast, that it's sort of waned a little bit. St. Louis, 24-15 at home. This game should be a virtual pickup, a pick'em. And the number makes me think that St. Louis might be the side here because of Brown's inconsistency, his giving up the big ball and the runs, and I would play St. Louis if I was forced into taking a side here, and Libitor 4-6.
It's funny you talk about inconsistent. The guy has 6 starts at home, 7 on the road, 5.30 ERA, a 5.80 ERA. 35 innings, 38 innings, 41 hits, 44 hits, 279 batting average against, 280 batting average against.
So he doesn't get anybody out anywhere, is what you're saying.
Consistently not good for him. So
Yeah.
I like the over here as the official free pick. Go get my top play. I got the top plays of the day, I should say. It's a 3-pack. I kind of keep them all even keel. I don't really give out a game of the week kind of stuff in MLB, but the 3-pack is up right now at gamblersworld.net. Free pick over Cardinals, bonus over Yankees, Braves for Chip. We'll wrap it up with a little this day in sports, my guy.
Sean, I'm so glad you came to me with this. June 23rd, there are a couple of really spectacular incidents that happened in baseball history, particularly. On this day in 1917, Babe Ruth and his catcher, Pinch Thomas, were eliminated and thrown out of a game. Babe Ruth actually threw 2 punches at the umpire, and they were arguing balls and strikes after Ruth walked the second batter of the game. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Ernie Shaw came in and retired 26 straight batters. So it was a no-hitter, not a perfect game. And Babe Ruth pitched to 2 batters, got thrown out after he walked the second batter. The catcher who got thrown out, his replacement, now remember the final in this game was 2-0. His replacement, Sam Agnew, went 3 for 3 and had both RBIs. So without Agnew and Ruth in the game, and the catcher and the pitcher, the Red Sox, by the way, this is who he was pitching for, came on to win that game. And by the way, Babe Ruth for the Red Sox, this shows you how messed up they were, was batting 9th that day. I checked I checked the box score. He was batting 9th, but it's one of the big anomalies in sports where, Babe Ruth gets thrown out and the second batter that he walked, the catcher gets thrown out. Babe Ruth takes swings and hits the umpire, gets suspended, and the 2 guys that come in and take place pitch a perfect game and go 3 for 3. So it was a perfect day for substitutes, and I guess the Red Sox are very happy to see these 2 guys ejected. In 1963, Sean, I don't even know if you were born, but I remember this. I remember this at the Polo Grounds. A guy by the name of Jimmy Pearsall. You remember the movie Fair Strikes Out where
Yes.
All right. It's a true story about how his father put so much pressure on him that he went crazy, right? He went into an institution, and then he got out and played Major League Baseball. He had a fairly decent career, but in 1963, he was at the end. The Mets were formed in 62. They lost 120 games. 63, they still had the Richie Ashburns and Duke Snyders, guys that were done. And one of those guys was Jimmy Pearsall. Hits his 100th home run on this date, in 1963. And he ran the bases backwards. He ran to third, to second, to first. Mets cut him the next day. So he's called out for running out of the baseline. As a matter of fact, he made an appearance on the Johnny Carson show. Johnny Carson said to him, "Jim, are you all right? Are you okay? You were in a mental hospital." He says, "Hey, I'm sane, and I've got the papers to prove it." So that was one comment he made. Now, Rick Wise in 1971, do you remember this guy, Sean, at all?
I know that was he like something with free agency, was he?
Well, this is for Jim Quinn. Really, he no-hit the Cincinnati Reds on this date, 2-0, and he hit 2 home runs, solo home runs. So how's that for a day? You pitch a no-hitter, your team gets shut out, but you hit 2 home runs to win the game, 2-0. Now I got a little personal anecdote here for you. In 1973, Kenny Brett, George Brett's older brother, hit a home run in 4 consecutive games that he was pitching in. And I can tell you, I saw Kenny Brett pitch when he was 15 years old in California in the Babe Ruth League World Series. I was on a team competing. We got beat, and one of my teammates, by the way, was Bobby Valentine. He pitched the perfect game in the opening game of the World Series at 15 as El Segundo, who won the national championship that year, won 16-0, beating Alabama, and I felt so bad for the team from Mobile because they had beautiful uniforms, really nice ones. And in 1973, your boy Barry Bonds stole his 500th base, became the first person with 500 homers and 500 stolen bases. And in 2008, you remember Felix Hernandez, the pitcher for Seattle?
I know this one, grand slam of Johan Santana.
That's it. And it was the last time a Major League Baseball player hit a grand slam as a pitcher, hit a grand slam. And previously it had been in 1971. So they went 37 years without a pitcher either being at the plate or hitting a home run because their DH rule wasn't in effect at that time. So the Kenny Brett story, I thought I liked relating because I saw him pitch at 15, and people didn't even know he had a younger brother named George at the time who was quite the hitter himself, I'd have to say.
That guy was pretty good.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's it for June 23rd. I can come up with some prom dates episodes if you want, but that's about it for sports.
There you go. This day in sports from our guy Chip. Also, check out his top play in Major League Baseball today over at gamblersworld.net. His free picks on the Braves. My free pick over St. Louis. A bonus double. We both like the Yankee Reds to go over the total. And there you go for a Monday. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. More MLB. Let's go nice. Try to sweep the board here. Officially, Braves minus 133. over St. Louis 9. Bonus star play, Yanks, Reds over 10. And there you have it. Chip, have a good one, my guy.
Thank you, Sean.
So,
Appreciate it.
listen, 10% off, everybody. Go get her. Chips play, my 3-pack, maybe more. Go for it. Get it. 10% off. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.